A federal judge just told the acting attorney general in writing, "Your explanation doesn't comply with my order." That is the second time. Here is why this case just moved from the judge is skeptical to the judge has recipients. Quick reminder why this matters. A law called the Epstein-file Transparency Act requires the DOJ to release its files on Jeffrey Epstein and to publicly justify every single redaction. This is not optional. It's a federal law signed by the Trump himself. And right now, the person in charge of complying with that law is also the defendant fighting not to. That's the tension driving everything that's happened since. Let's track the actual timeline because it matters. Back in June, Judge Emmett Sullivan ordered Blanche to unredact 8 specific emails, hand over FBI interviews, notes, and publish a public log justifying every redaction, all by July 2nd. Blanche didn't fully comply. So on July 25th, Sullivan escalated. He ordered Blanche to hand over 10 disputed records, completely unredacted, for Sullivan's own private review in his chambers, not the public, just the judge. That's what I covered before. Here is the new part. On August 13th, Sullivan ruled that even after all that, Blanche's compliance still is not good enough. His exact words, "Dependent assertion do not comply with the court's order." Sullivan is not just asking Blanche to say the redactions protect victims anymore. He is demanding actual documentation to prove it. Not "trust me, prove it." And there are still 2 specific things missing. Blanche has not produced the FBI interview notes Sullivan ordered back in June, and he has not started reviewing the foreign language documents in the files at all. Something Sullivan specifically asked him to explain and has not gotten a real answer on. Here is why I think this is a bigger deal than it might sound. When a judge stops accepting a government agency's word and starts demanding independent proof, that's the legal system's version of "I don't believe you anymore." That doesn't happen casually, and it especially does not happen twice in 6 weeks. There is also real money on the table. Payne, the journalist who brought this lawsuit, is asking for $1,000 per day sanctions against Blanche until he actually complies. Sullivan has not ruled on that yet, but every day this drags on. If another day, that penalty could start accumulating retroactively. My prediction: Sullivan grants at least some form of those sanctions soon. A judge who has already found the same dependent non-compliance twice is not likely to just issue a third warning with no teeth behind it. And I think the FBI interview notes, not the foreign language documents, end up being the real fight, because those are the ones tied to actual witness accounts, not translation logistics. So this case has moved from a judge's doubts the DOJ to a judge has now caught the DOJ falling short of a direct order twice in writing. That's a real escalation. Whatever you think of the underlying files, I will keep tracking this, especially if Sullivan actually issues those sanctions. Do you think Blanche ever fully complies, or does this end up at an appeals court instead? I'm leaning toward appeal. Tell me if you set it differently.